This is Seasons of Discontent with your hosts Rick Snyder and Matt Combs.
Welcome to Seasons of Discontent, Season 11, Episode 5, brought to you by Rick Snyder's Washington on social media. And I'm Rick Snyder.
I'm Matt.
And we're back discussing all things Washington sports and life as part of the mighty Rick Snyder Empire for no other reason. And so hit the like, share, subscribe, and thanks button, which is that $sign below you if you're watching on YouTube, and that way Matt gets paid. So, sorry, Matt. Not much there.
I was going to say, them paychecks ain't really rolling in, Rick.
So it's sort of like the Washington Commanders paychecks. They do come in on Mondays, but they didn't earn it again. I'm not surprised. I like Tampa. One thing, Tampa's a decent team. Don't forget that. And two, I knew they'd melt like butter in that fourth quarter sun. I mean, Tampa Bay's heat is its own version of hell, to be honest. I've been there a lot of times, especially September. It's just goes through you, and it's 100% humidity. And that's what caught them too. I mean, they were going to lose anyway, but man, it's just rough playing down there that time of year. So it all pretty much went like I thought. I thought Tampa could get about 30, but I'll put it this way: they played like crap. They really did. We'll go down through it, but that's the bottom line. Is I thought I'd fallen asleep for 8 months and came back and saw the end of last season. I mean, this thing, it was the same stuff. Can't get pass rush, can't have pass defense, not getting. I mean, it was just like, wow, what have you guys been going on?
That was my biggest takeaway, honestly, was, these are the things that hurt them Sunday were things that affected them last year. It was sloppy tackling. There was no pass rush. The cornerbacks sucked. You figured with a 60% roster turnover, different coaches, actual coaches, compared to what we had last year, you would expect some sort of a different result. I picked them to win. Maybe I bought a little bit of the homer, I bought into it a little bit as a homer, I will say. But honestly, I expected Dan Quinn, Jaden Daniels, Kingsbury, all these guys to come out really hyped up and really prove that, hey, yes, we are a team that's retooling, because they don't like to say rebuilding. But we're still someone to contend. We're still going to contend. We're still going to go out there and play decent. Aside from Jaden, what did we see? I mean, Payne and Allen still can't wrap the quarterback up. They had Mayfield. They should have probably had 5 sacks on Mayfield, but he was elusive and he got away from him. Cornerback, man, they picked on Sanistrel all day. I don't know why. They could have picked on anybody in the secondary and got bomb after bomb, but they picked on Sanistrel. They clearly picked on the Rook. Look, I'll be honest with you. Tampa, I'm not a big Baker Mayfield believer. I don't really believe that he is that top tier quarterback that some people do. Is he serviceable? Yes, but I'll tell you what, they made him look like a damn top 10 quarterback on Sunday. And realistically, I mean, the weapons that he has, it might have been too much for us. But I was very, very taken aback at how much this team recognized. It reminded me of what we saw last year. And that's just hard to believe. Like I said, 60%, almost 60% in players turned over, and they looked the damn same.
Yeah, it was. I just sat there and thought, seriously, how is this possible? Even your old coaching staff, everybody changed. The guard's still out there in the parking lot, but everybody else is pretty much gone, and yet he looked the same. I'll give Mayfield credit. He dropped a couple really good dimes on end zone passes. All right, that's going to happen.
Yeah, and Mike Evans is a Hall of Famer. I mean, the guy's got hands for days. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just not a Mayfield guy. But you're right. He threw some dimes in there.
And what was pretty amazing is the defense gave up points 7 of 8 possessions. Okay, they got him to punt once. That's ridiculous. Especially they had the pass penetration. They're in the backfield. They just can't finish the deal, on that kind of thing. Part of what I think really happened in a way, I saw it in the Miami game, in the second preseason game. That's when I said to myself, oh no, they're not as good as I think they are. It was brief, it just hit me. I was thinking a 9-win team. When I saw that Miami game, I thought, no, it's more like a 7 or a 6-win team. I could just see they didn't quite have it. One of the things they don't have is speed. If you watch that first preseason game, regular season game, Kansas City, had the kid Worthy. You see him run through everybody. Man, that was like Darryl Green. Boom. And you see how much speed is on these teams of the elite level. They don't have that here. The other thing I thought was really bad, and I wrote it from my 1067 The Fan column, is I thought they really made a mistake in playing time in the preseason. And it's an old story, but Quinn bought into the same one, which is don't play your starters in the third last game because they might get hurt. Better to let them look like a clown show in the opening loss than to take a risk and try and get a team with 60% turnover to not have snaps together in these games. Kansas City played their starters in the third preseason game because they understand you had a 3-week break there. That's not good. You don't come into the game ready like that. And so I thought Quinn made a mistake there in the playing time, especially a rookie quarterback, all this turnover. You need snaps together that don't happen on the plains of Ashburn. You got to do it against live competition. Yeah, they had a couple of these scrimmages, but they weren't ready. They weren't ready at all. And I blame the coaches for that.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part.
I'll be honest with you, Rick, too. I blame the coaches for their inactives. It really showed that aside from Terry, we don't have any wide receivers, and Noah Brown was not active. I understand he just got here, but at the end of the day, he's a football player. You can look at that guy and say, okay, do a post. Okay, go 10-yard out. Okay, do a fly. I mean, I know there's more that goes into it, but he is a professional football player that has played games in this league. It's not hard. I mean, I'm sure guys that got picked up in the last week of preseason, they probably played with no problems this past week. But yeah, a wide receiver is a glaring issue on this team, and it's going to be. They double Terry. I mean, we didn't see much from Ertz. We expected Ertz to kind of be the security blanket for Jaden Daniels. It's always nice to have a veteran tight end as your security blanket when you have a rookie quarterback. He was non-existent on the field. Aside from McCaffrey getting some garbage time touches, I really didn't see anything. And Terry wasn't targeted enough, if you ask me. I mean, what did he have? 2 or 3 catches for basically nothing? The wide receiver is going to be a glaring issue going forward.
Yeah, it's on there. Their passing game. Well, let's go through it. JD ran 16 times. That can't happen again.
No, he's not Lamar Jackson.
5 times would be as much as I'd say. And I know that he said, well, I saw openings here. I was trying to make things happen. To me, when they talk about they don't want to play guys in preseason because it's reckless, him running twice at the goal line in a blowout loss to get a touchdown was reckless.
Yeah.
Could have caught in a pile, could have got hurt. That's where
one time they ripped his helmet off.
Yeah, you got to really talk to this guy and say, listen, we want you to be you, but you can't do it this way in the NFL. This team has a sizable investment in you as a franchise. If you get hurt like this, we're screwed. Look, let me show you what happened with RG3. So they've got to get him out of that scheme. They've got to get him to be a little more patient with receivers downfield instead of running. Yeah, there were positive plays, but they could have been other ones. You can't ignore your receivers. And then running backs didn't even have that many. Really, it was the JD5 show on this for snaps on everything.
Yeah, how come I'm surprised? Like I said, aside from Ertz being a veteran, I'm surprised guys like Austin Eckler weren't factored into the offense more. I understand that Brian Robinson is your starting back, but you have Eckler, who is a veteran, a change of pace back, who can catch the ball out of the backfield and make something out of it. And we barely saw him. They didn't. It's like they were almost afraid to take their new toys out of the package, except for Jaden Daniels, obviously. And I also think that on some of the runs, Jaden maybe didn't go through his progressions enough, or maybe guys weren't open, or, we know we have a makeshift offensive line. I mean, I'm sure he was, he made what he could positive when he probably was going to get sacked or he would have taken a loss. So, you know, I mean, I give the kid all the credit in the world. He was the best quarterback, you know, of the first round quarterbacks. He was the most impressive one, I would say. Caleb Williams didn't even throw for 100, and Bo Nix, he played okay, but I don't believe he threw a touchdown. At least JD had 2 rushing scores. But like you said, I mean, in a blowout loss to Tampa Bay in week 1, I would not be doing some of these goal line runs that he was doing. And can we please, aside from teaching the kid how to slide because he does like this weird roll thing, let's get him a tighter helmet because his helmet flew off twice that I can think of.
Yeah, he said that's happened to him a lot. Well, he probably likes a looser helmet, and anyone who's played football would tell you, yeah, they're tight on your head, but they're
they are. They are, but I understand he has the dreadlocks or the twists or whatever he has. So I'm sure his hair takes up a lot of space. But you know, stick the air pump in the back of that thing and pump it up a little bit.
Yeah, they're tight on your head and they're uncomfortable, but that's for protect your head.
Exactly.
You know, I just thought it was a poorly coached game on the play calling on everything. I didn't see the defense either. I saw a lot of players look confused, which gave up busted plays among other things. That shouldn't have been happening after all these weeks. I think they expected too much. They're going to dial it back a little bit. One thing, they signed a new kicker named Austin Siebert. Now, if we count Joey Sly, because technically he was here at the end of this year, you know, last season, you know, then they got rid of Sly. They now are on their 5th kicker. Now, the first guy in Carolina gets caught up in the sex situation that they got to get rid of him. 2 guys came into the training camp, neither exited training camp. Then they took another guy right on the verge. He was awful. He missed 2 field goals, almost missed the extra point, then blew the kickoff. Wow, what a meltdown on this.
Yeah, look, I know with Cade York, everybody's going to point out the missed field goals, but he kicked the ball out of bounds on a kickoff.
Yeah.
I mean, right then and there, and you had to cut him by week 2 or you owed the Browns a 7th round pick. You know, like I said it before and I'll say it again, McManus was the kicker. That was who they wanted. They went out and signed him during free agency. How often do you see kickers get signed on the first day of free agency? They clearly knew that they had a weakness at kicker. They went with McManus, and you know, this thing on the airplane came up. We haven't heard much of it. As far as I know, I haven't heard much of it, but you know, and that's probably not a guy that you can bring back because all they're going to talk about is this scandal. So, you know, they're trying to find what they can find. I understand what they're doing. They're trying to find a young kicker that can kick here for the next couple years. They don't want to go the older guy route, but at the end of the day, when it comes down to, you know, it's 23 to 24 against the Giants next week, and you're lined up at the 25-yard line to kick a field goal to win the game. Are you going to trust this young kid to kick this field goal? I know they couldn't do it with York. They couldn't do it with Ariza or whatever his name was. So I don't know, man. We'll have to see.
Well, Sievert's had a cup of coffee around the league for 5 years. So, you know, a little bit of experience, although he missed 5 extra points his first year, the only year he really kicked. That was before I think they moved it.
Yeah.
Really strange on there.
And it makes you realize, I know everybody made fun of him back in the day, but why the Raiders drafted Sebastian Janikowski. That dude should be in the Hall of Fame. And, you know, he won more games than he lost. So now you're seeing the importance of a kicker. And, you know, with this new improvised kickoff where you try to get it in that targeted zone, I mean, you know, the kicker job has actually become more of a needed position than just a throwaway, you know, hey, we can use 2 or 3 kickers a season.
Yeah. Well, we'll be back on Thursday again every week now. We try to do Tuesday, Thursday, or Friday. I don't know what day we're coming back. But they play the New York Giants, and we'll get into this in the next show. But I've been saying it's a must win. And yeah. I do. No, it's a must win because this game is 2-15.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. We'll get into that on Thursday.
Yeah, so that's a tease for you guys on there. All right, we're out of here. I'm Rick Snyder.
And I'm Matt.
See you on Thursday or Friday, whatever day we come back.
Thursday at 7 a.m.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Now, the only show that's not guaranteed, I can't predict, is going to be the first one.
Okay.
It's either going to be Monday night or Tuesday night, depending on when they play. I'm going to try and stick with Tuesdays, but Yeah.
No, next week we're going to do Monday because I'm going to Vegas, baby, on Tuesday.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll do the live chat. We'll do the live chat from the strip.
Well, you can do it yourself. I don't care. And they play on Monday night, so we're Monday, Tuesday. We'll be around.
Yeah, we'll be around. All right, guys.
Thanks for listening to Seasons of Discontent with your hosts, Rick Snyder and Matt Combs.